what do the Lord require of thee? Last week, the lesson, Reverend Benson talked about what shall we render unto the Lord. Here he said, what does the Lord require of thee? And reminded of Isaiah. Isaiah asked him the same question. He said, what more could I have done? He talked about the people, O inhabitants of Israel. What more could I have done? I took you to a land, and he said, I put you in a vineyard, which means he took them to the land flowing with milk and honey. He cleaned it out. He took all of the rocks and the stones and he built them and put them in a beautiful vineyard. He said, what more could I have done? And yet you still did what? You went astray. And not only did I plant you there, I tilled the ground. I provided everything that you need. I even put a watchtower in the middle. So if the enemy came, you could run to the watchtower, which means you could run to who? You could run to God, and he would deliver you. What more could I have done? Here, he said, what does the Lord require of us, of his people? Just simply require meaning, what does he inquire of us? What does he want us to seek? What does he seek from us? What does he search in us? And let's look at some of the things that could show us what God requires. In the beginning, in verse 1, let's go up to verse 1. Here God is speaking to him. He's telling him, he says, hear ye now what the Lord hath said. Arise, contend before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord controversy, and ye strong foundation of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with the people, and he will plead with Israel. All he's saying, all that is being said here, he is telling them that I have an issue with you. I have some contention with you. There's a strife that I have with you. And what do you think that controversy is? When there's some controversy between God and man, what is it? What normally causes it? Sin. Sin will cause us to be, the word is called enmity, a warlike opposition with God. Sin. He's requiring of them. He's pleading with them that there's this controversy that ahead. Can you see the interrogation of God? It's almost like Job standing in front of the interrogation of God. Who would like to be interrogated by God when he come out and whipping you with all this? He said, no, woe unto me. He's saying that sin has caused this controversy. And Micah said, here, the people who want to hear, you got to actively listen and engage to this message that's given to you. He said, I have a controversy with you. It's your sin. You strayed away. You've gone after other gods. And then now he's going to ask them some questions. He says in verse 3, oh my people. Somebody read that. Just that first sentence.
What have I done unto thee?
Come on, read it like God is saying it, Sister Karen.
What have I done unto thee?
What have I done unto thee? It's like Isaiah was saying, he said to them, what more could I have done? What have I done unto thee, the people? He said, wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me. Come on, tell me what I have done against you. Why have you strayed away from my statutes and my laws? Why have you gone away from my word? Why have you gone away from the things that will bless you, you and the people and the nation? Why are you sick and tired of worshiping? And one commentary said it like this, why are you sick and tired of worshiping me, an almighty God, the one that sustains us, the one that keeps us, the ones that keeps us breathing at night, and the ones that wake us up in the morning and we could move, the one that clothes us, the one that provides for us. Why have you strayed away from me? Why have you wearied in worshiping me? It's almost like a Sunday morning when we come in and we're like, oh my Lord, yes, I'm on the back. And it's the boy, the Lord is moving in this place. I don't know where you've been, but why have you wearied? Why have you wearied against my worship, against worshiping me? And then he said, testify. Come on, stand up, speak, tell me. What is it? Are you better off serving these other gods that can't do nothing, but sit there with a big pot belly and look booty and all of it? Are you better off serving these other gods? He said, why have you wearied? And then he reminds them, isn't that like God? After he asks us these tough questions, then he reminds us of what he has done for us. And let's go and look and see. And he says, in verse 4, he says, for what? For I brought thee up out of what? The land of Egypt, and redeemed them, which means brought you back, thee out of the house of servants, which means I took you away from being slaves. I brought you out of this abusive land with these taskmasters, and I took you away from being slaves, from serving from other people. But yet you wearied against me. He says, so I brought you, and I sent before thee Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. What is he saying there? I sent you leaders. I didn't take you out and just leave you to wander with no purpose and no goal, but I gave you leaders. Why have we wearied against the worship of God? They have gone astray. Now let's pause just for a second and bring it to our time. Because we could get caught up and say, boy, the Israelites were so young. Boy, they were so young. Listen. The Ninevites were something else too. The people of today, we're something else also. We're something else also. Now, there's nothing new under the sun. Our astray and going off could be a whole lot of other things. Could be some of the pleasures that they didn't have of that time. Come on, you could think of some, huh? You could think of some things that have taken us away, that have wearied us.
Yes.
That I got to get up and go there again on Sunday morning. I got to do that again. Oh, it's going to be long. My feet hurt. I got to go Monday. We got 2 services and stuff. And that can take us off course. We can get weary in that sense. And then before long, come on, somebody go with me. Before long, we missing a Sunday. And then another Sunday. And then we're not as consistent.
Amen.
Come on now.
Yeah.
We're not as consistent. And then before you know it, we're all the way away from the church. We out of this safety. Why have we wearied against the God that has taken us up from out of our muck and miry clay and dusted us off and took all the dirt off us and brushed our teeth, combed our hair, gave us some nice pretty glasses that you see, and set our feet firm on a solid foundation and pointed us toward Jesus? What more could he have done? That is the question. I was getting that when I was reading it. I was getting that urgency as Reverend Vincent talked about. He asks a question. And then he reminds them of what he did for them. And then he brings them to this point. We know it's coming. there's some judgment that's coming. And he has been warning them and warning them. But there's judgment coming. He said, what? We got to be quiet. And in Judah, when the kingdoms were split, it was Judah and Israel. You had all of the big folk in the city, all of these religious folks, all of these rich folk, taking advantage of the poor, doing unjustly, oppressing the people, that which they was brought up out of, yet they were doing it to their own people. Do we see that today? Do we see the oppression of the poor today? To see people doing any means and measure of something for greed and for money and for fame and for fortune. Boy, do we see that today.
Yes.
And do we need somebody to stand up and proclaim the word of God as he's doing it here? A strong word. What does the Lord require of thee? That I do right, justly. You see that? What does it say? That I do what? Somebody read it with me in verse 6. That I do. Y'all gotta, verse 8, I mean.
Verse 8.
Y'all gotta follow along with me. That I do what?
But to do justly.
But to do justly. Let's look at some things that's justly mean. When you think of justly, you're thinking of what? Doing what? Right?
Right.
Yes. To do justly. It says, to do justice is to give due to what is right. To give due to what is right. And says, who are we giving due to what is right? To God. We're giving due to God. He requires that of us. With our what? It says that we are to give due unto God with our hearts, with our body, with our soul, and with our spirit. Because there's a scripture that says we are to love God with all thy what? With all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. The first thing he says is to do justly before an almighty God. To give him that, when he blesses us with, we are to give him that. Our heart, our mind, our soul, and to walk right before him. Here's some other words that I found that it means justly and good and right. It says pleasant, delightful. Do the things that are delightful, that are pleasant, that are fruitful, that are kind, that are correct, that are righteous, and that are of a moral goodness. He requires that of us. He seeks that and searches us out, that we're going to do those things before him. We would come with all of what? We would come in some of the other scriptures he talked about. We would come with all of our sacrifices, our rams and our calves and our bullocks, and we would come with all those things and the oil and all of those things. Can that make us righteous? No. No. Jesus required that those things, or God required those things in the Old Testament for sin. You remember every year that he required that. But could that make the people right? No. It had to be done from within here. It had to be done with a right spirit. It says so that we do justly. And then it says that we also not do justice towards God, but we do justice towards our neighbor. It's a threefold thing: towards God, our neighbor, ourselves. And we do justly towards God by giving of our heart, our mind, our soul, our spirit, our strength. That we do justice to our neighbor. What does that mean when you say do justice? Justice towards your neighbor.
Treat them like you want to be.
Amen. Come on, say it. Say it. That's it. Treat them like you want to be treated. That's what God expects. Treat my neighbor as if I want to be treated. I don't want nobody yelling and screaming and hollering and doing all that crazy stuff towards me. So why am I doing it? Like one of the ministers said at the conference I went to in Louisiana. He said, you in there hollering in the house. He said, what good is all of that doing? Do justice towards them. Do justice towards your neighbor. And then finally, do justice towards yourself. Toward yourself and show. Let's give some things. What it says, give thyself what is due. Do not deprive our soul of what God has provided for it. Boy, this is important. I started writing big on this one, so I wanted to see them words. It says, do not deprive our soul of what God has provided for it. To keep thy body in temperance. These are things we don't like to talk about. To keep our body in temperance. To have an even keel of the evil spirit. We're not up, we're not down, and we're not all. Because you know when we're up and down and allowing all these things to affect us, what does that do to our body? Stress. That brings on stress. So my doctor today from my appointment, he said, oh yeah, some stuff in the down here. That's good. Right. All that stress, so nobody be hollering in here. So we are to keep our body in temperance. We have to have a good spirit. How do you keep? Just somebody tell me. How do you keep yourself in the even keel place where you have this calming effect? You're not answering, not running, and blood pressure and stuff. Not someone does that. Prayer. Meditation. I was working with a group of people, and boy, it was hectic at this school. It was hectic. I mean hectic. Y'all know it. Y'all looking at me like, oh, I mean hectic. Just Jane, wild and crazy hectic. Unnecessary hecticness. And everybody from the top to the bottom and everything in the middle was just cut off. It was just carrying going 100 miles an hour. And then it just going, and when everything was doing that, guess what everybody else was doing? And I'm going to stay under the blood. Hey, brother, how you doing? I'm going to stay under the blood. Yeah, Jesus, keep me in the cross. Just ain't nothing because red's way up here and everybody. I have to prepare for that. Yeah. That's the Bible. Through prayer, meditation, and then one of the leaders, the superintendent, said, well, how do you keep that peace about you? I said, prayer and meditation. And one of the teachers leaned over and said, we got a big day with Mark, can you meditate for us? And I said, yes. And I said, yes, but it's going to help me. Now, I'm praying that you get it, that it can help you. And if you pray that somebody else get it, they can help them. And we can all pray that people get it, and we can help. Because when those big days came, in the midst of all that, they got even higher.
Right.
So, yes. So, keep thy body in temperance. What was the other one? Well, I lost my place. Why'd y'all help me to lose my place? All right. Come on, Ray. Yes, sobriety. Remember, we are not to deprive our soul of what God has given us. These are the things that's due. To keep our body in temperance. Sobriety just means what? Sober. Clean mind. Not an inebriated mind. A mind that's going stuff. Like Graham Benson used a lot in his analogy of that sword movie. Says the guy couldn't do it because the professor told him you have too many minds.
Minds.
You're thinking too much with all of this stuff. When you have it, you have it. It's there. And you got to prepare yourself for that. So it says sobriety. And then chastity. Avoiding all excesses, both in action and in passion. Things that we don't like to discuss a lot in the church. Of keeping our body pure. And a lot of times when we say that, we think we're just talking about the women. But we're talking about the men too, just as much as the men.
Right.
Keeping our body pure, not giving in to all of these passion and lust of the eyes and lust of the flesh. That will destroy you. And we need to say that more. And because we don't say it more of the chasteness of the young people, then our young people are giving in to all of that lust and stuff like that. And why? Not only because we don't say it, because the thing says in action also, is because we don't act it out. We acting something else out. And what they're following that. So we can't be placing all of this responsibility on our young people about our young people are just going to hell in the handbaskets, faster than fast, babies having babies.
Why?
They saw the adults doing it. So all of this is what he requires of us, that we do justly before him, before our neighbor, and also in ourselves. So if I have a meditated mind, if my body is in temperance of an even-keeled spirit, I have sober thinking, and I'm chaste with my body. I'm not just giving my body into every excess of everything. And that could be anything else, also drinking and drugs and everything. And boy, don't you? A clear mind could take you a long way. And then a clear mind in God. Amen. What do you require that I do justly? That I do justly and that I love mercy. Simple. The love mercy says, not only do I love mercy with justice, but I love mercy with kindness and benevolence and charity. It's an unfailing love that I have. The same love that God has for us, an unfailing love. How many has been hurt by someone? How many has been talked about by someone? How many has, as Reverend Bill said, backstabbed? Yeah, we all have been. Those are hurtful things. But to have a love of forgiveness, because forgiveness is more about you than about that person.
That's right.
Boy, I remember Elder Langston preached on that one time, and boy, I still got good notes from that. I was like, I got to go back and research that. This is about me. No, you don't know what he did to me, Elder. It's about more about me than about that person. So to do justly towards God, mind, body, spirit, soul, for our neighbor, do unto others what we would want them to do unto me, and to ourselves, that we are clear in our thinking, that we are sober in our thinking. We don't take in all the access and the passions of our want of our body. And lastly, what is the last? Do what? Walk what? I'm going to read that in y'all scripture. Some people close their eyes. Walk humbly with thy God. Walk humbly with thy God. When you hear humble, what do you think of? Anybody here humble? Or humble, like they say back in my parts of the world. Humble. I was like, I hate trouble. You know, come on, somebody talk to me. Here's your time to talk back. Now y'all want to talk back to me. Talk back to me. Okay, meek. Not weak, but meekly. Okay. There's a calmness. What else?
You can't help but be humble in this sight of such greatness. So if you are walking with thy God, you have no choice but to be humble. You
Okay.
are very small.
All right. I hear that. I want a little bit more. When you're humble, you have to do something. You have to surrender and submit. How therefore can I walk if I do not submit to walking? Example. Sister James, could I use you for an example? Okay, you got to stand up. We're going to walk together. Now, you know that I'm taking you the right way. But you want to do your own thing. And you go another way. Okay, I'm going this way, you go that way. Just keep going. You're fighting back. I know you got that fight in you. We can't walk together unless she does what? Unless one of us does what? Submit and humble ourselves to who? To God. To God. How can I walk with Him? There is no walking if I'm not submitted or surrendered. There is no walk. And God is not one to do what? Drag and shove. I've taken you out of this land. I have given you leaders. I've given you my statutes. Wherein have you hearing and serving me? What I'm taking from you, what I was getting from you is, I should never find my place, myself, in that place of weary and worshiping God. Even in the midst of my lowest low. How many people have been low before? Low. Even in the midst of my midst. He saved my soul.
Amen.
And what is a price on, what price would you pay for the salvation of your soul?
Well, if you ain't got a soul, you can't buy nothing else, so it doesn't matter. There ain't no price.
Just a second. What price would you pay for your soul? So, in order to walk humbly, here's some things that we'll close. It says, walk humbly with God means to humble thyself to walk. I got to humble myself to walk. This implies that we must acknowledge our iniquity or our sin. We must submit and surrender ourselves to be saved by His free mercy. So first of all, I must submit myself to walk. And then I must acknowledge that I have sinned. For without salvation, if I don't admit that I am sinful, then I can't be saved. How do I save and how do I walk with God? And in closing, here's what the people thought. We could bring all of these, what's the word I'm looking for? Hypocrites. All of these hypocrites and people were saying, we're doing one thing and acting all religiosity, bringing all of their rams and their calves and all of their oil and stuff, but they were cheap and stealing from the people. So, doing right, loving mercy, and walking with God still does not guarantee us salvation. The submitting of ourselves. There's no way that we could do. These are things that we should do. See, these are the things that's required of man. But there's no way that we could do those things unless God shows His mercy on us.
Amen.
No way. It's impossible for us to think that we could do it. Not all the money in the world could have us to do that. Because those riches can't buy us heaven. We have to humbly submit ourselves to allow him. Because I've seen people who will do right to other people and was one of the biggest cheat stealers and lies you can find. I mean, will do right in him, but was one of the biggest cheats, lies, and steals that you could ever find. So it's the redemption, the regeneration of man, the redemption of our soul through the blood of Jesus Christ. He requires us to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with him. That's what I got. That's what we're going to close. And we're going to have our prayer circle. We thank the brother that came in, the brother that got excited about the lesson in the back. And so we thank him for coming in, because guess what? All are welcome that will submit themselves unto God and to the house rules, so to speak. So all are welcome to come. Good time to have our closing. And you know what? We can do it right here. You know, we don't even have to move. We don't have to move. We could get right here. If somebody want to sit, Brother James, you want to sit? Go ahead on the sit. I'll take you.
Oh, he's just going to sit. All right.
You know what? I got to get over here with you people. I got to get amongst the people. I got to walk humbly with the people.
Okay. All right.
All right. I want to see y'all faces, coaches. We thank God for being here. First of all, I'm going to ask prayers for Pastor Nelson and his family. All is well. You know, Pastor's doing a lot of things, so we just pray. And I'm going to ask that you continue to keep on lifted up in prayer.
Amen.
Also, the anniversary, Pastor Micah anniversary is coming up.